Lads, welcome back to Fusion YGO. It is your boy, Christian the Haver Cardman here, back at you with another deck profile today. Unfortunately, I have to do this one in EDO Pro just because we don't have the cards out for this yet in the TCG, but they are well on their way, and I do plan to build this deck in physical cardboard, so I'll probably do an updated list for this when these come out. But today we're going to be covering Rescue Ace. So before we get into the video, if you guys do like these, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to let us know that you want more deck profiles like this in the future. I have so much fun playing these kind of like rogue and janky type decks. And for those of you that stay subscribed to the channel, you might have noticed that I already did a live stream on this deck, but I'm doing a ton more testing. I'm constantly working on this deck because I absolutely love it and I think it has a ton of potential. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the deck profile. So starting off here, we have one Machina Ruin Force and Machina Citadel. If you guys have been watching the channel and watching my deck profiles for a while, you already know what these cards do. Next up, we have two Rescue Ace Turbulence here. This is the big boss monster for Rescue Ace. This guy's absolutely incredible. You only need to play it at 2 because he's easily searchable and easily recurable, and he has some really great effects. So you can banish 2 Rescue Ace cards from your graveyard, so this includes spells and traps, to be able to special summon him from your hand, and then during the main phase, you can set up to 4 Rescue Ace quick play spells and or normal traps with different names directly from your deck. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can target one card of the field and destroy it. So it is targeting destruction, but it's in response to anything getting removed from your field, so it doesn't matter if it's banished, destroyed, sent to the graveyard, whatever. If your opponent gets rid of one of your cards by card effect, you can retaliate with this guy. Next up is one Machina Megaform, one Machina Radiator for the classic Machina redeployment combo here. That'll allow you to use Megaform to basically get any Machina you want out of the deck. Most times it's going to be Citadel. Some cases could be like Unclass Bar to dump a Ruin Force to get him online. And then one Machina Air Raider just in case. It's a pretty solid enough card. It's decent enough to run at 1. Next up, we're running 2 Rescue Ace Fire Engine. With this guy, if a Rescue Ace monster other than the Fire Engine is normal or special summoned to your field, you can special summon this card from your hand, and that works during either turn, which is super awesome. And then if a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can special summon a level 4 lower Rescue Ace monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Next up, one Machina Fortress. Everything in here is machines, so it's easy to ditch stuff out of hand to get free special summons off of this guy. And honestly, his targeting and battle instruction effects do really come in handy, and overall just a super clutch card. We're running one Rescue Ace Fire Attacker here, so this has the same condition as Fire Engine, where if a Rescue Ace monster other than Fire Attacker is normally special summoned, you can special summon this from the hand during either turn. And then if a card is added from your opponent's, or added to your opponent's hand except by drawing it, so basically if they search a card or if they dig with Prosperity, you can draw 2 cards and then discard a card. So it just allows you to kind of fix up your hand a little bit. It's good as a one-of, doesn't really need to be any more than that. Next up, 2 Machina Unclass Bar, good enough normal summon for the deck, also like our main searcher off of the next card, which is Machina Gear Frame. Basically, these two make like instant lines into just about any combo. If you normal summon Machina Gear Frame, search Unclass Bar, you can use Unclass Bar's effect to special summon it, dump your Ruin Force or whatever machine you want to from the deck, or well, I guess whatever Machina monster you want to from the deck to the graveyard, and then be able to overlay the Gear Frame and the Unclass Bar into Gear Gigant X, which will allow you to search any other level 4 lower machine monster from your deck, which does get you into Rescue Ace stuff, which is really, really cool. Next up is 3 Rescue Ace Air Hoister. I'm probably going to put this guy down to 2, just for the simple fact of it's good, but it's not necessarily needed for the deck, and we'll go over that why in just a second. So its first effect, if this card is normally special summoned, you can add a Rescue Ace spell from your deck to your hand. This only says spells, does not let you search traps, but it does also give you the option to search the field spell, which does kind of make it nice. And then when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, as a quick effect, you contribute this card from your hand or field, special summon 1 Rescue Ace monster from your hand except Rescue Ace Hoister. And the reason that this one's not as good is, like, sure, you get to search that spell on normal summon, normal or special summon, but you can only special summon a Rescue Ace monster from your hand with its tributing effect, and with the next monster, it allows you to go from the deck. So Hoister is probably better off as a 2. Being able to search the spell is nice, but it's not necessarily needed. It's basically just extra copies of the field spell mostly. Next up, one Machina Possessed Storage, kind of in here for the same reason Unclass Bar is. He's a good level 4 monster that you can use as like a backup plan. You could honestly search this off of Gear Gigant X if you wanted a follow-up play for the next turn. And then one Machina Rest Avenger. We have enough Machinas in the deck. They're big enough guys. He really helps with Citadel to be able to get that attack boost. That puts him over 4k, which means there's more monsters that he's able to pop with his effect. Or you can even use it on Ruin Force to get over an access code that used a Link 3 monster as material. Rest Avenger is just really good, and it recurs itself whenever a Machina monster destroys a monster by battle, which is not hard for this deck to do at all. So him at 1 is perfectly fine. Next up is 3 Rescue Ace Impulse. This is the one I was talking about. So during your main phase, you can choose one effective monster your opponent controls with the highest attack, your choice if tied, and neither player can activate that monster's effects on the field this turn. That's his first effect. This is his on-field effect. The other one is similar to Hoister's, but better. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field as a quick effect, you can tribute this card from your hand or field, special summon one Machine Rescue Ace monster from your deck. So instead of having to just be able to summon any Rescue Ace monster from your hand, Impulse allows you to special summon any Rescue Ace machine from your deck, which could be the Turbulence, could be the Fire Hydrant, it could be anything. Like, the Rescue Ace Impulse gets you to so much more of your deck, and it just special summons it out from the deck that he is needed at 3. Next up is 3 Rescue Ace Hydrant. This is the biggest part of the Rescue Ace deck. Everything basically revolves around this guy, and it's specifically named after him, so you do really need to make sure that he is available on the field almost at all times, but there's plenty of ways to get to him, so there's no need to worry about it. So his effect, well, you control a Rescue Ace monster other than Rescue Ace Hydrant, or your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. Also, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. So this guy, basically, as long as you have other Rescue Aces on field, he's just safe. So you can only use each of the following effects for Rescue Ace Hydrant once per turn. You can activate one quick play spell card or trap card set by your Rescue Ace cards effect the turn it was set. So if you set cards with Rescue Ace Turbulence and you have Hydrant on field, you can activate one of those cards that you just set on that same turn. And then, during your main phase, you can add one Rescue Ace monster from your deck to your hand, except Rescue Ace Hydrant. And next up here, we have one Reinforcement of the Army, just because Impulse and Hoister are both Warrior monsters, and they're both level 4 or lower. So Rhoda is just an extra copy of those. 3 Machina redeployment to get us into the Machina plays. We have 2 Rescue. These are onto the Rescue Ace spells and traps now. So Rescue is a quick play spell card that is always treated as a Rescue Ace card. Its effect, you can target one Rescue Ace monster in your graveyard, or if you control Rescue Ace Hydrant, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard instead, and special summon it to your field. So basically, it's an on-theme monster reborn that's a quick effect speed, or if you have Hydrant on field, then you can nab a monster out of your opponent's graveyard, which can double as disruption in some cases. So that's really, really good there. Then we have 2 Alert, also always treated as a Rescue Ace card. Add one Rescue Ace monster from your graveyard to your hand, or if you control Rescue Ace Hydrant, you can add one Rescue Ace monster from your deck to your hand instead. So we have another Searcher as long as we control Hydrant on field. So basically, if you have Hydrant on field, if you open up him and Alert, then you get 2 monster searches right off the bat, which is just absolutely insane right there. Next up, we have 3 Rescue Ace Headquarters. This is the field spell right here. This card is actually really, really good for the deck. It's absolutely mandatory to play at 3. While your opponent controls a monster, Rescue Ace monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense, which, trust me, this has already come up in clutch. Like, that puts your Turbulence at a 3,500 body. That gets over so many things on its own. But it's the rest of the effects that make this card so good. So during your main phase, you can normal summon one Rescue Ace monster in addition to your normal summoner set. So the Headquarters is really good there. And then finally, once per turn, as a soft once per turn, you can target 4 of your Rescue Ace cards that are banished and or in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw 1 card. So it has its own Pot of Avarice effect that also affects banished cards. And you can do any amount from the graveyard and the banished. Absolutely insane. It allows you to grind with this deck really well, and I absolutely love this field spell. Totally fantastic. Next up, for the traps, we are running 3 Machina Overdrive. This allows us to bridge so that if we have only Rescue Ace plays, but we open Machina Overdrive, that'll allow us to get into our Machina plays on our opponent's turn, which could lead to more disruption and also more recurability thanks to Machina Overdrive's secondary mini Pot of Avarice effect as well. So there's a ton of grindability in this deck, and it's absolutely able to do a lot of stupid things. Back onto the Rescue Ace cards, these are the traps now. So Contain, always treated as a Rescue Ace card as is normal. If you control a Rescue Ace monster, target one effect monster your opponent controls. This turn, that effect monster cannot attack. Its effects are negated. Also, if you control Rescue Ace Hydrant, it cannot be used as material for a Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, or Link Summon. So Contain really can just shut an entire monster down. Basically an Imperm on steroids that's searchable in the deck. So it's really, really good. Next is Extinguish. This card is always treated as a Rescue Ace card. Once again, if you control a Rescue Ace monster, target one effect monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So immediately you just get a 1-for-1 removal, but there's more. And if you control Rescue Ace Hydrant, this turn your opponent cannot activate the effects of the destroyed monster or monsters with the same original name. So say they are playing a deck where all of their stuff floats, then, well, you just pop the card and they can't even activate its effects for the rest of the turn. Or if they play a deck where they use multiple cards of the same name repeatedly, you can just shut down all the copies that they have for that entire turn with this card. So onto the extra deck, I just kind of threw generic stuff in here. This is definitely going to change a lot when I get to doing the paper version, but this is where I'm starting for now as a good baseline, and I think so far it actually works out pretty well. So we'll start with the Link monsters. We have one IP Masquerena, just generically good Link monster. We have one Heat of the Fire Charmer Ablaze. I thought about throwing an Asa in here, the Earth Charmer, just because of the Machina line, but I don't think Earth comes up as much, and I like Hita because it allows you to revive an opponent's Ash Blossom, which almost every deck plays nowadays. So if you get Ash, then that's just a free body for you to use with Hita that'll allow you to Link climb in further. Then we have one Nightmare Phoenix, just good generic back row removal. And the nice thing about this deck is it doesn't necessarily need the extra deck. It's just you can throw in whatever tools you want into here, and you can definitely play a Prosperity or Extravagance build with this if you'd like. I just kind of ran into some issues with that where I'd get rid of cards that I actually ended up needing. So I like just having the toolbox available and not having to worry about it. But you guys do what you got to do. So one Nightmare Unicorn, one Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. A lot of our monsters are level 7 or higher in this deck, so it doesn't make any sense to not run this card. Like, it makes a lot of sense to have in here. One Access Code, generically good OTK machine, same with Boral Sword Dragon. One Unchained Abomination, because we do have stuff that pops in here, like we have Machina Citadel, our Extinguish to get other pops as well. There's a lot of ways to be able to proc this Unchained Abomination. Of course, we have a lot of big bodies, so destroying stuff by battle, easy enough as well. So you can get a lot of advantage off of one Unchained Abomination in this deck, which is really, really good. One Underworld Goddess just helps with getting rid of like really problematic cards, being an extra deck kaiju. Always love having it, as well as like a Dark Ruler No More with a Graveyard Negate. Like, where could you go wrong there? Then one number 27 Dreadnought Dreadnoid. Just easy enough to set up. Like if we do the gear frame on class bar combo, we'll going second, and our opponent left themselves open to this, we can exceed climb really quick and do some really dangerous stuff with that. So Dreadnoid is really good. If nothing else, it also is able to be used as a Zeus target because it can detach a material from this card if it would be destroyed by battle or card effect to protect itself. So you can make it survive the battle phase even if it doesn't have something it can beat over. You can just crash into something or battle something and save it from being destroyed, and then make a Zeus and clear the field. So it's a good card. One Gear Gig X, like I talked about earlier, basically the gear frame combo just lets you search out any level 4 lower machine of the deck. 9 times out of 10 for me, that's going to be a Rescue Ace Hydrant, but there are other targets as well, like Machina Rest Avenger or Possess Storage for the follow-up. Then we're running one Rail Cannon Gustav Max and one Super Dora. It's not too hard to make a rank 10 of this deck. You just need Citadel and Ruin Force, which is not at all hard to set up. So that's good for like later game stuff. And then of course to combo with that, we have a Juggernaut Lieb to help us OTK. This train package is always just insane at OTKing. And then of course one double A Zeus just to help clear our opponent's fields. Super easy to set up with the monster lineup that we have in this deck, so I think it's totally a viable option to run. I don't currently have a side deck right now. You guys side deck how you want to. It's all format dependent in that case. So you notice I didn't run any hand traps in the main deck. Honestly, I don't feel like this is a deck that really even needs hand traps all that much. I've been on a pretty good streak with it, just as is. If you want to throw in hand traps, you're going to have to do a lot of refiguring with a lot of ratios and whatnot, which is totally fine. You guys play this deck how you need to. Like I said, this is all in testing right now, but I've been having a lot of good times with this so far. It's been a lot of fun to play, and it's actually been relatively successful with the testing I've been able to do so far. I really can't wait to get the paper version of this so I can actually get a better idea of how it will perform in the current metagame and the metagame that comes down the line. So once again, if you guys enjoyed this video today, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you can get more content like this in the future. And just let me know down in the comments if you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely had a lot of fun doing this one. This deck is just really fun. And I got a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline that I think you guys will enjoy as well. So until next time, lads, remember, good fun. Have luck.